The MGC is the high performance version of the MGB, and when you look at the two cars, you can't really tell the difference, except the subtle change on the bonnet. On the MGC, you have this rather cute bulge and the chrome strip going across the top. But underneath the hood, things were very different. This model belongs to Simon of Colne Classics, and he's going to be explaining to us what a beast this MGC really is. Welcome to Down at the Barns.
Thank you.
This car has been a real labour of love, hasn't it? So tell us your journey of how you had to get 3 MGs to get this one. Explain that story.
I've been buying and selling MGCs for a number of years and really fell in love with them. So I decided I was going to build one for myself.
Yeah.
And I ended up going down to sort of Kent-Sussex border and buying 3 cars just to get this one. The other 2 I sold off, and this one I decided to restore.
Okay. And it's been a while, hasn't it, getting it all together?
Yes, it was a 2-year restoration. It was a body shell that when I had sandblasted I shouldn't really have done. It was bad.
Yeah.
But you're committed at that point, and I love a challenge.
You ended up giving it this lovely colour. This isn't the actual original colour you said though, isn't it?
No.
Right.
No.
So this is called what?
This is primrose yellow.
Yeah, because often you see them in, well, I've often seen them in a red. It's a common colour for the MGC. This is a lovely colour though, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah.
It suits this body shape really well. And it was also an E-type colour.
Yeah.
And I loved it on the E-type as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why I wanted it in this colour.
Now, the big thing about this car, obviously the difference between this and MGB is that engine. Tell us what's in there and what's involved.
The MGB was an 1800 engine, straight 4. This is a straight 6,
Yeah.
2912cc. So a much bigger engine, more powerful, but actually it's not the power that you really notice, it's the torque.
Right, okay.
They're a really torquey car. We did some upgrades on the engine to make that even better still. And once you've driven an MGC, MGB never feels quite good enough.
Okay, fair enough. Now, it was designed for the American market, wasn't it? And there was a bit of controversy over the engine that was going to be in this car, wasn't it? About the right one and having to change the bonnet and the bulge and all the rest of it.
It was meant to be a replacement for the Austin Healey 3000.
Yes.
Donald Healey didn't particularly like it.
He wasn't happy, was he?
No.
He didn't want his name associated,
No, he
did
didn't. And they decided to put it out as an MG, called it the MGC. And it had limited success, mainly because they gave the press a car with the wrong tyre pressures.
It was only 24 PSI, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it wallowed a little bit in the corners, and the press didn't like it, didn't like the handling characteristics of it. But with modern tyres, modern suspension and the proper tyre pressures, they do handle rather well.
Yeah, so what tyres do you have on this? What's going to give it that?
Well, just modern tyres. It doesn't matter. You can stay at the standard size, or you can upgrade them a little bit.
Yeah.
But the modern tyres are just so much more grippy.
And some decent suspension.
Yes.
What's this got?
The polyurethane bushes all the way through, parabolic springs, and decent shock absorbers.
Right. And that gives you a great British sports car then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
The engine though, is anything different in there you've put in that's different to
Yeah, it's got a lot of upgrades on the inside. When we built the engine, we weighed every part on a set of paint scales, and every piston was ground down to be the same weight as each other.
Yeah.
The conrods were done the same. They were done the same end for end. Then everything was balanced, and it gives you a very smooth engine. Nice camshaft, electronic ignition, few other bits and bobs, bit of headwork, and you get a good, really good, not a track car. It'll do okay on the track, but
Yeah.
it's not a race car.
No.
We don't build race cars, we build road cars.
Yeah. So what sort of speed would this comfortably do?
I think it would comfortably do 140.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. What's the fastest you've gone in it?
120.
And what would that feel like?
Yeah, it's getting a bit lively.
No, it's not got much on the clock, has it?
No.
7,700?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's good.
We zeroed the clock when we
Yeah.
built it,
Okay.
so it doesn't get used as much as it should. I have other commitments at weekends, which means I can't always be off in my classic cars.
Yeah.
And also I've had a number of other classic cars.
Yeah,
And when you've got more than one, you then have a choice.
you do indeed. That must be nice.
Yes, but I've sold the others
Yeah.
and I've kept this.
Yes.
Until now, I've finally decided to put it up for sale.
Right.
And I want to spend a bit more time and involvement in the other blue MGC.
Right. Okay. Now, this car's been used as a demonstrator for your business. So you take people out in this. What generally is the feel once they go out in this car?
They want theirs the same. Not many people have driven an MGC like this one.
Right.
It drives so well.
Yeah.
You get so much feedback from it, and that's what people want. They don't want a fast car. They want a car that's going to make them smile.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether they're doing 30 mile an hour or 130 mile an hour. They
Right.
want to enjoy it,
Yeah.
and they want the feedback, and we build cars that give them that.
Yeah. It's fair to say that this car has been designed in a way to have it a little bit understated. Is that right?
Yes, very much so.
Why?
Because the drive is meant to be the exciting part.
Right.
I didn't want big flary arches or any chrome shiny wheels. I just wanted it to be nicely understated.
Yeah.
And when you drive it, that's what sets you on fire.
That's your surprise. That's the
Yeah.
exciting moment when you get behind the wheel. And that brings us nicely on to the fact that this car has been around in a few places. It's been seen and spotted. You've been in magazines and things. Can you explain that?
Yes, in 2012 there was a big event for the 50th birthday of the MGB.
Right.
And there was a weekend planned at Blenheim Palace, and they had a timeline, and they had one car from every year of production,
Yeah.
and this car was chosen to be in that timeline,
Brilliant.
representing the MGC for this year, 1969.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then off the back of that I then was invited to do a magazine shoot for Classic and Sports Car, which was an MG versus Triumph feature.
Right.
I took the car up to a little race circuit, sprint circuit up north, and we had a very cold day up there because it was a February day for a summer article. And we spent the day there having photos and interviews done, and then this car appeared on the front cover of Classic and Sports Car,
Brilliant.
which was nice.
It's nice, yeah. But as well as being in the magazine and being displayed, there's another surprise about this car, isn't there, Simon?
When it first left the factory, it was a police car
Wow.
for the Met Police.
Fascinating.
Why they had them, nobody seems to really know, unless they got them cheap.
Yeah. You couldn't really put your criminals in the back,
No,
could you? You couldn't
no.
really lock them up in the
No,
back.
you couldn't.
No, and it also had automatic.
It was originally an automatic car, and I converted it to a manual overdrive during the restoration.
So we keep with our Barnes theme of police cars. Check out the other episodes in the link on the left-hand side of the screen. So you say you're selling it now. You want £34,000 or very near offer on that, don't
Yes.
you? Okay. That's because they can't get a car like this, can they?
You can't build a car like
No.
this for that sort of money.
No, because this has been nuts and bolts
Yeah.
from the beginning all the way through. Everything about this car has been detailed to attention, has been amazing, hasn't it?
Yes,
And that's what makes the difference.
yes.
Right.
And 15 years on, from its restoration, it's still one of the best cars out there.
Right. So if you fancy a go in this car, have a look at it, come and see Simon, and you're serious about purchasing it, please get in touch, and then we can put you in touch with Simon. But Simon, we got to go out in this, haven't we?
I think so.
Should we give it a spin?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Definitely.
So, join us next time down at the Barns, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.